guys, this is Layla from motherhooddiaries.com, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how to prepare for your new baby. I've got 3 kids. This is my youngest one. She's 4 months old, and the first year of a baby's life is a real whirlwind experience, and I'm sure you're going to really enjoy it as well as want to pull your hair out like I have. You've got my coffee. I don't even know where my coffee is. The kitchen looks like a state. I've got clothes piling up in the laundry basket. I've got deadlines to do. Welcome to the first year of birth. Whether it's your first or your 5th baby, babies come with baggage and a whole heap of preparation. I had my 3rd baby about 4 months ago, and my lounge looks like a baby has thrown up all of it. Still didn't buy half as much stuff as I did 9 years ago with my first. It's like a rite of passage that you need to go through, where you buy all the unnecessary stuff and then you end up knowing what's necessary. So we will go through the whole thing from preparation during the last trimester of pregnancy all the way up until the first year of birth, and I will go through all the little bits that you need in between. And if I've missed anything out, please let me know and drop it in the comments below. Everything I refer to in this video there will be a link and some information about what I've referred to in the description box below. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit the notification bell and subscribe if you like my stuff. And I'm going to get this move on, because this video is going to be hefty. It's going to be long. Might have to do it in 2 parts. I'll see how I feel when I get there, and if I stop waffling, I might even be able to do it in 1 video. So let's start. To prepare for your first baby, for your new baby, you have to start when you're pregnant, and the reason for that is because your baby, once labour starts, will be coming, and you will not be able to stop them from coming.
Made it, me and you. We made it.
So you need to have a few things ready and in place before that happens. This baby's got ants in her pants. Done poo? No. So in your 3rd trimester, you need to prepare your hospital bag. Now, like I've done, my hospital bag has become my changing bag, and that's a lot easier because then you don't have 2 different bags, and you just transition from preparing for birth to preparing for baby every day. So a hospital bag essentially needs to be a bag that's big enough to carry all your bits that you need for birth, for labour and birth, and for the first few days in the hospital. So it's got to be big enough, and it's got to have some compartments. I find that compartments help me organise my bag into bits that I need. Bless you. So what do you need in your hospital bag? So contrary to what you think, and what I always end up doing, is you don't actually need to pack the kitchen sink. The first thing you need obviously is the changing bag or the hospital bag. I have searched high and low for the perfect changing bag, and I think I found it. So I was gifted this beautiful Mia Tweed Jenny travel changing bag in berry. It's a very beautiful red colour, and it's perfect. So it's created by this mother of 2 called Charlotte Jam, who, like me, was searching for the perfect changing bag, and she needed something that was stylish, yet something that could carry her daily bits every day. So like me, I carry my laptop, my laptop charger, baby essentials that I'm going to go through in a minute, and other bits for myself like wallet, makeup, pens, notepads, you know, all sorts of things are in there. My bottle of water, my baby, which my sister calls my 4th baby. I need to carry something as big as this in my bag. So the Mia Tweed Jenny travel changing bag is perfect, perfect size. Lots and lots of different compartments in it. I've written down what the changing bag has because there's loads of stuff in there. So it has a gem organizer bag, a travel changing mat, a clutch bag with X body strap. So look, changing bag full of stuff in there. It's huge. It's got a clip for keys, which is great because I always lose my keys in my bag. I've got a Mary Poppins bag. I don't know where half my stuff is. It's got a clear bag for baby bits, which I don't have to hand. It's got 2 insulated bottle holders, buggy clips, and it's waterproof inside and out, and it's got a large mobile phone pocket, perfect for my large mobile. It's got lots and lots of different things. The bag also comes in its own tote bag. I buy groceries with it. I know, I know. So what do you actually need inside your hospital bag? I'm going to have to breastfeed this woman in a minute. This lady, honestly, this lady, I'm talking to you, young lady, okay? You are a hungry madam. So remember, you're going to be in the hospital for about 3 days, maximum 3 days, more if there is an issue or any complications, but that's not normal. So for 3 days, really, you don't need as much as you think. Don't forget your maternity notes. Now, your maternity notes are really important because it will contain things like your birth plan. And I know that your birth plan rarely goes to plan, but it will create a skeleton plan for midwives and consultants to refer to. So things like, do you want to push? Do you want to have an epidural or any pain-free medication? Do you want to be upright? Do you want to be lying down? Do you want to have a vitamin K injection? All these things you need to put in your birth plan. If you don't have a birth plan, you can subscribe on my website to my resource library, which I've created a printable birth plan for you in there. It's got some bits in there. You just need to cross out the bits that refer to you, and got extra space in there for when you want to write some extra requirements in there. But anyway, so the birth plan needs to be in there, but not just that. More importantly, your maternity notes, they include your medical history and your pregnancy history. So your past pregnancy, what's happened so far, were you bleeding, were you diagnosed positive for group B strep? Because if you were, you need to have antibiotic medicine. You okay? You need to have antibiotic medicine when you're in labour, so that your baby doesn't contract group B from you. So these things are really important, and they all have it in your maternity notes, so make sure you bring that with you. The second thing is, right now, I have to warn you, the hospital is baking, and I don't mean 32 degrees, I mean it is sweating in there. So you're not going to need baggy jumpers and towel dressing gowns and fleece lined robes. Okay, you're not going to need any of those because it is so hot in there. So bring 2 nighties and a very thin dressing gown. Bring a very thin dressing gown. I had 2 nighties only because I used one for birth, and then I used one for birth, and then I used one when in the hospital. But actually, after the first day, I used just the thin bedsheet, because I had the epidural, I was prepped for theatre, I had a catheter put in, so I was so uncomfortable. I was itching from the anesthesia and the epidural, which is a normal side effect, but I couldn't have anything on my skin, and I was in so much pain because my front bottom was really sore from having a forceps delivery, which resulted in an episiotomy and a second degree tear. So I just wanted nothing on my skin, and so I just used a thin bedsheet. And then after that, after I was able to move about, I just used a very thin nightie, and that's all you need.
How do you feel, Mummy?
Come on,
Feel pretty
hot.
girl.
Come on then.
In terms of things like slippers, fur-lined boots here won't work. You are literally going to be so you're going to be lying on your back for the first bit, and then you'll be prompted to walk. And I wasn't allowed to go down to the postnatal suite unless I was able to walk. So I ended up staying in the delivery suite for 2 days. Medication wasn't working. Liquid morphine wasn't scratching the surface, by the way. So once I was prompted to walk, I was told I needed to have a shower. So I had these really thin, very airy, I've tried to look on Amazon, I couldn't find them, they're very old. Go for really thin, comfortable, airy, breathable slippers. Believe me, you'll be given compression socks at the hospital, so just bring your slippers. Maternity pads. Now, whether you've had a C-section or a vaginal birth, right, the outcome is going to be the same. You're going to bleed a lot, okay? You're going to bleed a lot, so you're going to need some very protective maternity pads. I have really done my research on this. I've tried and errored loads of different types of pads, and my favourite by far has always been the premium pads. So you pay slightly extra for these, but they are well worth it. They're called the Abena. I'm shooting. ABENA maternity pads. I think they're called premium maternity pads. Abena premium maternity pads. I'll find the link and I'll drop it in the box below. But they are well worth it. They are so protective. They look like miniature planes, so they have massive wings, and they're huge. They're like beds in there. They're huge, but it's worth it. It's worth it because I hardly leaked the first 4 weeks. I started to leak a bit less around 4 to 5 weeks. I transitioned to the Always Ultra Thin pads, which were perfect. The next thing, so it brings me on to my next point. You don't want to leak, so wear disposable knickers. You don't ruin your normal knickers. Buy for the first few weeks your disposable knickers. Trust me, they're so much easier. And I've always gone for the same brand. I've gone for the Emma Jane brand, which I'll leave a link again in the box below. But the Emma Jane brand is so cute. They are all different patterns and different colours. I think you get about 7 in a pack. I think it's 7 in a pack. I bought about 3 packs and I used them for the first few weeks because I was bleeding quite a bit actually. But they were perfect. When I had used them for a few times, I just threw them away. And then I transitioned from the disposable knickers to 100% cotton knickers, which I still use now. They're very, very comfortable and really breathable and really good on the skin. And remember, if you've had a C-section like I've done in the last couple of times, go for the high-waisted ones because you don't want the knickers or the pants to be riding on that scar. It's really painful and it irritates the scar and it causes an infection. So you want to make sure it rises above the scar, and don't forget you'll still have your bumps, so go for a size up. I was a size 10 to 12 when I gave birth. I'm probably more likely a 12, so I picked the size 14 to 16 and they fit perfectly over my bump. Okay, so I have put an infographic in my article with toiletries which include things like razor blades and stuff like that. Look, you're not going to need them. So because I had a vaginal delivery and I had stitches because I had an episiotomy and a secondary tear, I wasn't actually allowed to shower or wash with shampoo, conditioner and body wash. I had to wash with just water whilst I was in the hospital. All I used was my Olay facial wipes, moisturizer, coconut oil on my skin because my skin was getting a bit dry and I had scratches on my skin, and that was it. Toothbrush and toothpaste and makeup on the last day, hairband for my very thick curly hair, which I either put like this or I put it in a Dutch braid, and that was it. That's pretty much all I had in my bag, and obviously my contacts and my glasses. You know, things like massage oil. It's ideal, it's nice to have that, but you're not going to use it. Maybe a water spray because it's so hot in the... Actually, do you know, I wish I had brought a water spray because I was so hot in that hospital that I think I would have probably benefited from just doing this constantly. I have a really nice Evian one as well, which I didn't use, which is a shame. So the next thing you need in your hospital bag are breast pads and nursing bras.
This is the breast pads, which we're going to be using.
Yep, these are the ultra slim breast pads. I haven't used a single breast pad. They look like this. Shall I open one up? Let's open one up.
Just open it.
Okay. They look like this and you put them inside your bra. You stick, the bottom bits should stick. Yeah, there's a tape that sticks and you put them on your boob like that, and it sticks to your bra. And then when you leak, like I have the last couple of times, I've leaked, then they leak onto the pads. These are the Boots own brand maternity breast pads, ultra slim ones. These are not ultra slim, so I don't actually know what the normal size ones are. Anyway, so breast pads are good because sometimes she's a champion feeder, so I haven't had experienced this problem.
And sometimes a champion pooer.
And a champion pooer, but we will come on to that in a minute. So sometimes in the morning when I wake up, my boobs are engorged, and if she's crying, then they will leak, and so these catch the leaks. First 2 boys, I did need breast pads. I was leaking. With my first, I was leaking from pregnancy, and with my second one, I was leaking after I gave birth. And my milk came in actually quite late, but for some reason I was leaking colostrum. But with her, I didn't leak at all. I didn't use my breast pads at all. In fact, I didn't leak until she was about 6 weeks old, funnily enough. Somehow she was getting the right amount of food, and then all of a sudden my milk really came in from around 4 to 6 weeks. I don't know whether maybe her demand had changed and she needed more, but for some reason then I just needed to keep using it. But with my first 2, I had some, and I'm really glad that I bought some because for some reason I was leaking. Nursing bras. Now I have only started to see my boob size regulate now. So from early pregnancy up until now, up until 4 months, I've had to change my bra size. My bra size has changed constantly. So I have got very different size bras in my drawer right now, and now I've got to figure out which one I need. So I need to go back. I use this fantastic website called Boob or Bust. I think it's booborbust.com. I'm not sure. Just Google boob or bust. They have a fantastic calculator on there. I thought I was 34D, but it turns out I'm 32G. And I was thinking, 32G, I'm huge. There's no way I could fit a 32G. But actually, when she was born, 32G fit perfectly. I think I'm maybe sort of gone down a bit, but 32G was fine. So, and they do cater for breastfeeding and they cater for pregnancy as well. So, and they have a very supportive Facebook group. So if you have any questions, just go into the Facebook group, which you'll see online, and then just ask them your questions, which is what I did, and they were very helpful. And you can send pictures of your bra, and they will tell you whether they fit or not. I'm just going to try and put her down. There we go. Maybe I put you the wrong way. I did. Okay. Let me turn you around. Let me turn you around and have a look at this. Oh my goodness, what is all of this? Wow. Look at that. There she is. So, nipple cream. With my first, I said I leaked, but I had an emergency C-section, and for some reason my milk was just not coming through, and my baby was huge. He was sucking a lot, and I ended up having really cracked, raw, horrible nipples. Like really, it felt like my nipples were being cut by razor blades on fire. It was horrible. So nipple cream and cold compress worked perfectly. Honestly, just, you know, you need something to soothe. I wanted to use ice cubes. It was so painful. So make sure you have nipple cream with you if you have that same problem. I had that problem in the hospital, and I'm very glad I bought it. This time round, she was perfect. She clicked when she feed, but actually I have experienced no pain with her. Second one, I experienced a little bit of pain, but that is because I breastfed straight after I gave birth. Well, after I stopped breastfeeding Aaron, my eldest. Day before I gave birth to Aiden, my second one, and I breastfed him for 2.5 years. So I kind of breastfed for like 4 years almost. So 7 years later, I thought I'm going to have the same problem, but actually she has been very, very good. Very good. Speaking of cold compress, okay, you're going to need a cold compress downstairs if you've had a normal birth. I forgot mine, and I was so gutted I forgot mine. When I got home, I have this one called, I wrote it down. It's called Multi-Gyne Compress, and it has this 2QR complex gel which soothes. I think it's got aloe vera in it as well, and it has this cooling effect, and you put it on top of your pad, and it's a bit bloody, but you put it on top of your pad and it's so soothing. Oh my gosh. And I think it did actually help me heal, because by 4 weeks I was almost back to normal. Almost. About snacks and water. So the hospital generally gives you breakfast and lunch, I believe. Some hospitals may give you dinner. This particular hospital I went to only gave me breakfast and lunch, so I would send hubby out to bring me dinner, and I also had loads of snacks. I actually felt like I ate really well when I was in hospital. Also bring some water with you. The midwives will generally come round and refill the jugs, but you don't want to keep interrupting them. Just bring your own water. And if you're prepped for a catheter like I did, then drink to your heart's consent, because you don't need to go to the toilet. Poor midwives. Also bring something to do. I brought my laptop and my phone, and I thought, oh, I'll blog and I'll write about my birth story, whatever. But I didn't want to look at a screen. I was so tired. I just wanted to do something that wasn't related to writing, but I didn't bring anything to do. So I sent hubby out to get me some puzzle books, some magazines, some regular books, things like that. And also I didn't want to watch anything. I didn't want to watch any TV or listen to any music because I was too worried about her. Hi, you. Hi. There you go. Comfortable going home clothes. So I was very uncomfortable when I was about to leave for home. I was in a lot of pain. I felt really uncomfortable. I felt very fat. I felt really hot. I felt really itchy. So for me, it was only baggy clothes. I was wearing my husband's baggy jumper and baggy trousers. I didn't want to wear anything else. I hadn't sorted out my makeup, nothing. So just wear something very comfortable. I just needed to wear something that was just off my skin. So I just wore something baggy and comfortable. Now for babies, on to baby. So you're going to need some newborn nappies. Now, you're either going to have a premature baby and you won't be able to predict that, or you're going to have a very big baby like I did with all three of them were big babies, so they couldn't have the newborn nappies. Pampers, Baby Dry. This is the up to 12 hours. This is for 6 to 10 kilos. This is size 3. And this might be slightly too big. My husband bought the size up. Size 2 is perfect. And they look like this, with Velcro style tape. A super absorbent protection. And a lovely, lovely bright nappy. So we went straight to size 1 nappies. You know, I learned my lesson third time round, and I bought some size 0 nappies and size 1 nappies. And I think size 0 nappies are for premature babies, I believe. Size 2 I had to buy for my second one, because my second one was 4.5 kilos almost. He was huge, but he was 2 weeks and 1 day overdue. So he actually needed bigger nappies. Also, the other thing is, decide whether you're going to use disposable nappies or reusable nappies. Now, reusable nappies are obviously kinder to the environment, but I opted for disposable nappies because of my laundry. I mean, so the types of nappies, I normally go for the Pampers nappies. Asda's Little Angels nappies are actually really good. I tried the Lidl's nappies. I can't remember what they're called, but the Lidl's nappies are actually really good as well. I find those 3 brands, especially the Pampers, to be the most absorbing and kindest to the skin. Cotton wool. Okay, so for the first 4 weeks, when you clean your baby's bottom, you want to use cotton wool and cooled boiled water. If you don't have cooled boiled water to hand, then tap water, but try and do cooled boiled water. It's only to just try and reduce the amount of toxins in the environment so that the baby gets used to the environment, the external environment. But I do feel wipes are too strong for the beginning. After about 4 weeks, well, actually they recommend 6 weeks, but after 4 weeks we started to use wipes, and we use the water wipes, which are like 99% water, and it's got a drop of fruit extract. And now we've moved on to Asda's Little Angels. So we use the fragrance-free wipes, Asda's Little Angels wipes. You can also use own brand wipes. I find that they are less harsh on the skin because obviously you need to pay more for the chemicals. So just get own brand wipes. Get the cheapest wipes. They all do the same thing. They all clean breastfeeding poo and bottle feeding poo very easily. Probably when they start to eat, you might need stronger ones, but actually at this stage, anything with a little bit of moisture will work. Changing mats. Changing mats generally come with the changing bag, but if not, anything will do. Muslin swaddle, things like that, for when you're out and about. See, at home, we used to have a cot here, which has now gone upstairs because we used to have the snooze pod and the Moses basket. Moses basket was here actually, but we used to have the snooze pod upstairs and the Moki cot in there. And if you can see the grey changing mat that's on top of that drawer, those drawers there, that is the Moki cot changer, and that sat on top of the Moki cot. That's what we use now at home when we're changing Isla's nappies. It's really, really soft and has got some kind of ergonomic design, and which also helps her to not roll over. Obviously this is a bit dangerous what we've done here, so we never leave her in that cot, but there's nowhere else to put it. But this is a very good changing mat, and you can find that description below. So hats, scratch, mittens, booties, all those kind of things. Now nails grow really, really fast, so you're going to need some nail clippers, which we'll come on into a bit. But your baby will need scratch mitts, because otherwise they will scratch their face to pieces, because they are not aware of their hands or what their hands are doing, and their nails are very sharp. So please put some scratch mitts on your baby, because otherwise they will cry and it's very painful to watch. Hats, because of the whole temperature regulation. I don't know if you know, but newborns cannot regulate their temperature, which is why the hospitals crank that temperature up really high in the hospital. And even when that temperature is cranked up really high, they are wearing gloves and hats, and they're swaddled with blankets, and they're very warm. even in that temperature. So that's why newborns need to have hats on. A lot of the heat escapes from their head. We got given this beautiful pink and blue one from our hospital because she was our first girl, and it was very sweet. What a very, very nice gesture. And booties are not important. You can use one suits, baby grows like this, which already have sock types attached to it. And we've used these throughout. As they get a bit older, you can use booties. Really not essential for pre-walkers, but socks work just as well. I've got a lot of socks that I put on her. Nappy sacks. So nappy sacks go with the nappies. So nappy sacks can be fragrance free, or they can just be normal plastic bag type bags. Not great for the environment, but they're perfect for when they're out and about and you want to contain the nappy in the bag before you put it in the bin. We use a nappy bin. Here we've got the nappy bin, and you just open this up. This is the Sungenic nappy bin. You just open this up, stick the dirty nappy in there, push it down with this boulder here. So you push it down with this big thing that pushes the nappy into the bin. Open it back up, and there's a little button here with arrows going around the sun, and you just spin it. And what it does, you've got to push it down a bit more because this is full, this nappy. And what it does is it just closes the nappy, ready for the next one, and then you just push it down, and then what will happen is we'll have a new empty basket for the next bin. Snowsuit. So snowsuit, she was born in September, so she didn't actually need to have a snowsuit. My eldest was born in December, so he did need to have a snowsuit when he came home. So she started wearing a snowsuit at around 3 months. See, she's got a woolly hat on and a big snowsuit on. It's quite toasty for her. And we've got two pink ones, star ones. It's so cold. I got Isla's really pretty snowsuit from Next. It's actually from eBay, but it really is from Next. It's 3 to 6 months, so her feet come up to about here, but it's so pretty. And we've got a grey one passed down from the boys, and we've got a white fleece furry one that makes her look like a yeti, which is very cute. They're very comfortable. Some of them even have mittens attached to them, so you know they're fully protected from head to toe. Now, cellular blankets. Right, so cellular blankets are actually, they're in the hospital, they're the first blankets you see, so that's what the babies are swaddled with, and very good because they have holes in them, and the holes actually trap the air. They are very clever design. They have this very clever cell construction so that they trap the air, and it keeps baby cool in the summer and warm in the winter. And they're also much safer to use when babies are sleeping, because if a blanket goes over the baby's head, then they can still breathe because of the holes in the blanket. We have these very beautiful pink and cream cellular blankets kindly gifted to us by Bloomsbury Mill. They're very soft.
Money.
Pop it in the link below for you. And so onto clothes, baby vests, bodysuits, one grows, baby grows, sleep suits, whatever you want to call them, they're all the same. You have a baby vest underneath one of these. I've got a baby vest underneath her right now. She's got a long sleeve one underneath because it's winter. So you get a long sleeve one or a short sleeve one, and basically it just covers the whole chest area, and it has clips at the bottom which goes over the baby's nappies, and that's for underneath. And in the summer sometimes you just wear that, the baby will just wear that. But in the winter, like we are deep in the throes of winter now, it's like -3 at the moment, she's wearing a baby grow or a one suit or a sleep suit, whatever they call it. She's wearing the long sleeve sleep suit with the feet. And this was a very thick one actually, so she's kept very warm at the moment, and it's actually, the temperature is quite high here because I've got the heaters on. That's generally about it, what she wears. As she's getting older, I'm starting to dress her in cute little tops and trousers and tights and dresses and booties and things like that. But when they're a newborn, you don't need to do that. Just dress them in this, it's much easier. And make sure that you wash your clothes in a very soft, suitable detergent for babies. I'm going to go get the one that I've got. So we use the same brand that we've used for the past 9 years on the kids. We've got the Fairy Numbio, which is not gifted. This is what we actually genuinely use. And we've got the bigger version as well. We've got the bigger version. So mega pack, because we have to wash so much. This is the best. This is absolutely the best on the skin. We actually, at the beginning with the first, we tampered with a few of them, and they did come out in a few sort of tiny rashes. There was a bit of an allergic reaction with my first, but this one we've seen no allergic reaction, no nothing. This one, so it works really well. I'm whizzing through this because we've got lots to do. Muslin swaddles. Now, muslins are amazing. They are very versatile. Muslins are basically these thin pieces of cloth, generally 100% cotton. They should be 100% cotton, and they are used for all sorts of things. These muslin swaddles are used for swaddling baby. I have not worked out how to swaddle at all. At the beginning, actually, in hospital, when the midwife swaddled Isla, she slept for 4 to 5 hours stretches. She slept really, really well. Oh, I've got delivery. She slept really well, but when I tried to do it, I think it was too loose, and then as she got older and I was swaddling, her arms would escape from the swaddle. So I still haven't worked out how to use it. I need to work out how to swaddle properly, although I'm not sure I'm going to have another baby. But if I do, then I will learn how to swaddle. But muslins are really good for that because they're thin and they're very versatile. You can use them as nappy mats if you haven't got anything else, because they're kind on the skin. You can use them as blankets when they're sleeping. You can use them as breastfeeding shawls. You can use them, which is primarily what really they're used for, is for spit up. So when after the baby's feeding, I rub her back after feeds. I put it over my hand and then I just tap her and then she spits up. She doesn't spit up all the time, but when she spits up, the muslin square or the swaddle or the blanket catches that. But make sure you take care of your muslins, okay? Because it's very important. You're going to be using them all the time. Actually, you might be using them more than anything else. So make sure that you wash them properly. And if there are any stains, don't do what I did and set them in boiling hot water. Actually use a stain remover or soak them in cold wash. I think sometimes fades the stain really well. And oh yeah, we'll go on to poos in a minute, but breastfeeding yellow stained poos, I mean, they go through everything. They stain everything, those breastfeeding poos. Now we're going home from the hospital. Everything's gone well. We're all sorted. We've got everything in our changing bag. Baby's ready to come home. And what outfit are you going to put them in? Well, to be honest, the outfit that we were going to put her in was too small because she ended up being quite big. But we had a nice sort of pink suit, but that was it. It's not essential to have a cute going home outfit. With my first, I had a cute little pilot's hat, a blue outfit, and also I had a Christmas outfit and a Christmas hat. He was born on the 19th of December, so quite close to Christmas. So I had like a nice little Christmas outfit. It's nice for the family when they get to meet baby for the first time. There are some things like necessary things, right? And I got gifted this beautiful luxury hamper for girls from the hamper company, and it's really cute. It's got this box. It's a beautiful gift wrap box. It'd be perfect for a gift for someone who's having a baby because it has all the actual essential items in there, and it's a really cute, very well nicely wrapped box. You know, it's got the lovely mini, it's got a mini person baby memories scrapbook. It's got a Lamar's Trotter pony sensory baby toy in pink, Toby Tiger Girl's horse applique romper suit, which Isla wore a lot. It's got a cute little grey cat on the top. She loved it and it really suited her. Got an Aiden and Anais Lovebird Musy muslin square, a knotted white hat which was 100% cotton, a bandana bib in white which we've yet to use, a baby bunting grey star print unisex bodysuit which she used a lot, sock-ons, pale pinks. Now sock-ons are great because socks will fall off and sock-ons keep them on basically. Organic Monkey Hello Mellow baby massage oil. This stuff was amazing. The baby hamper company relax candle tin, which smells gorgeous. It's really nice. And the baby hamper company relax balm, which I just had. There it is. So I'm using this. Oh, see? You're home now, but have you prepared the nursery? Because the nursery is really important, okay? You need to have the nursery ready before baby comes. Is she going to sleep in her own room? Is she going to sleep with you? Will you transition in the first year to her own room or his own room? What's the plan? Like, what are you planning to do? With her, because we're living in temporary accommodation at the moment, most of the nursery stuff ended up in the lounge, and the bed is beside our bed because we didn't want to do up a nursery until we found our own place. With my first, we moved into our own flat, our own home, which we ended up staying for 5 years and then selling on. I moved when I was 7 months pregnant, so I wouldn't recommend doing that, which is why we're waiting until she's a bit older before we move. But it's a bit of a learning curve because our flat was new, so we bought a new build flat, so we had to do everything at the beginning. At 7 months, we even had to put floors in, and so that was an experience. We had to prepare a little bit more than the nursery. But if you only have to prepare the nursery, then what you need are the bed, obviously, the cot. So we had 3 different types of beds. We had the snooze pod, which was upstairs. It was a co-sleeper, so you could just literally roll her onto the bed. Apparently that's not safe. I've read conflicting information. The US think it's not safe, but the UK think it's fine. So there's conflicting information on that. Then we had the Moses basket downstairs, which I moved everywhere around me so that I could, I mean, for the first 4 weeks I could barely move. So I kind of laid on the couch, so I put the Moses basket with the stand next to me. So the Moses basket is quite mobile. Just make sure you don't move Moses basket with baby in it. Just take baby out and then move Moses basket. I had a really beautiful Claire de Lune Moses basket, gorgeous bundle set, which sadly you can't get now. I'll leave a link in the description box below for other Moses baskets that you can get. But the Moses basket bundle came with its own fitted sheet, blanket, cellular blanket, fleece blanket, and it had a mattress already, and we bought it with a stand. Gorgeous grey wicker basket, and it had these cute little bows on the sides which we tied black and white patterns to, and other bits and things like that. And Isla absolutely loved it, and all 3 had Moses baskets at the beginning, very beginning, and they're tiny, so all of them grew out of the Moses basket by 3 months. And then we transitioned onto the cot, which we have this Moki mini cot in ivory plum, which comes with that mini Moki cot changer, the grey cot changer. The Moki mini cot is very versatile. You can take off the panels and it can transition into a toddler bed. But inside the cot, because we used the cot downstairs for her nap times and it was quite big for her newborn, we put a baby nest, a pink baby nest inside the cot. It's a pink baby nest from Cali Sleep. It comes with a blanket, excuse me, 100% cotton blanket and its own pillow. And I would thoroughly recommend getting a baby nest. She slept so well in that baby nest. Really, really well. She felt very protective because it's meant to feel like a cocoon, you see, because newborns have been in our tummies for 9 months, almost 10 months. So they want to feel enclosed, and the cot is quite big. So for her to transition from Moses basket to cot, I needed to have something in between, and the baby nest is perfect. But sadly she grew out of the baby nest, unfortunately. I'm really, really sad to see that go, but she's now transitioned to the Moki cot. We've got lots of little things inside. The cot had a bumper set from Lilybell, Mamas and Papa's Lilybell, which is beautiful floral bumper sets. You've got the cot bumpers, you've got the coverlet, you've got the bar bumpers, and again, conflicting information with bumpers in there because apparently you've got a safety hazard. And I can see the point with safety hazard because when they get older, they will pull them down. And so it's best to remove them when they're sleeping. And if you see any signs of damage, remove them as well. Just make sure that you have got any string hanging down and make sure they're very secure. So we used those and we took them off after a while, and we used the coverlet as the duvet cover, the mattress cover, and it looks so pretty in there now. And we've got a unicorn set actually from Bloomsbury Mill, which we cannot wait to use. We just need to transition her into a toddler bed where she has a duvet and a pillow, and then we will use the unicorn set, which I cannot wait. It's so cute, the unicorn set. So blankets. Now we've got our cellular blankets, but you can get different kinds of blankets. I've got this one is actually the one from Cali Sleep. This blanket here. So this one is what the boys used to use, and it's passed on to all 3 of us. It says best friends. I don't know where this is from. Faded now, I can't see. I wouldn't be able to see what it's from. But we have a really beautiful grey blanket from Claire de Lune, which is my favourite blanket. She sleeps very well in it. It's currently in the wash actually because she pooed all over it. It was silver winner of the Mummy Best of Baby and Toddler Gear 2016 in the blanket category. It's got a nice heavy knit. It's perfect for winter babies. It provides really good insulation. Pop a link in the description below. In your nursery, you want to have something like an air purifier. My husband's asthmatic. I've read somewhere that it's hereditary. I don't know if that's true. I'm not sure where I read that from actually. I'll have a look and I'll pop the link in the description below if I can see the link where I read that from. Somewhere about asthmatic being hereditary. So I was having nightmares about them three having asthma. So I stuck an air purifier in there straight away to try and purify the air a little bit. So I used Foobot, I think it was at the beginning, but I found something called a Blue Air, Pure Air. Actually, this one was gifted to us. This is called the Blue Air Blue Pure 411 air purifier. It is probably hands down the easiest air purifier to put together. It's press the button on the top. So an air purifier removes 99.97% of airborne particles as small as 0.1 microns in size. What people don't realise is they all think that outdoor air is quite polluted, but actually indoor air can sometimes be more polluted because you've got all these chemicals and they're trapped inside. If you don't open the window, they're trapped inside and these airborne particles start to circulate in the air. So an air purifier purifies that air. And the good thing about it is that you can move it around as well. So you can actually move it from room to room every day and to purify the air, which is what I do. At the moment it's sitting in our room, but I can get out, I can unplug that purifier and move it into the boys' room and purify their air. So it's great. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the baby monitor. And I'm really excited to talk about this. This is a big one. So I'm going to do my own separate review of the Nanit. I'm not going to talk too much about it now, but baby monitor, video baby monitor warrants its own review, own video, because it's very extensive and it's going to take a long time to discuss it. So I'm just going to talk about the basics, but what I will say is it is the best baby monitor we have reviewed, and we have reviewed a lot. So we've reviewed things from like an audio baby monitor, very simple basic ones, all the way up to what we are going to talk about now, called the Nanit video baby monitor. Now you can get two different types of Nanit baby monitors. You can get the normal Nanit one, and then you can get the Nanit Plus, and we have the Nanit Plus video monitor. And with baby monitor is perfect for you because, you know, when they go to sleep during the day, you need to still be doing things. You can't stay in the room, right? So you need to put them up into their bed so they sleep in a quiet place, in a dark, warm, quiet place, and then you can go downstairs and you can do all your own things and all your own bits and bobs, and you want to have something where you can monitor the baby sleeping whilst you're doing your bits and bobs. So this is perfect. The beauty of this Nanit, it's a video baby monitor, so it uses a camera, and you've got it in different types. You've got wall stand, which you drill to the wall. You've got a floor stand, which is what we've got, which hangs up on the wall, and then you've got multi-purpose stands, right? And what it does is that it monitors your baby and it records the movement, the sound, and everything like that, and it learns from the baby. So it has these algorithms which continue to learn the baby's process, the baby's sleeping habits, and the baby's wakeful habits, and it learns that. And the Nanit Plus records the activity, and you download the Nanit app, and you see that activity in the app, and then it gives you insights into how to make the baby's sleeping patterns better for yourself and for the baby. Because it's created by parents itself, it's got a parenting expert team. You have to pay a bit more for insights. I think it's like £50 a year for insights. I think you get 1 free year with Nanit when you buy the Nanit Plus, and it just tells you, right, baby needs to go to bed earlier, got a temperature gauge, a humidity gauge, and it just learns from baby. And you can get additional equipment with the Nanit Plus. You can get a blanket, a breathable blanket, which monitors your baby's breathing, which is perfect for babies that have sleep apnea, because it will alert you if the baby's not breathing. It will alert you via the app. And we have the Alexa Show, and the Alexa Show, if when enabled, will show you the Nanit video monitor. So you just say, Alexa, show me Isla, and Alexa will show Isla, and it will have the same monitor as you see on your phone. And you'll get, with the Nanit Insights, you get 1 year of video history, sleep tracking, and you get sleep coaching by the parenting team. And the camera view is really good. The camera view is very sharp. So you've got the color camera, the HD camera, and then it will automatically switch to infrared camera during the night. So if it doesn't detect that much light, it will switch automatically to infrared camera, which happens when you stand in front of the window. It will switch itself automatically. It's a very quick switch. So you will see between colour and then grey, obviously. So when the baby wakes up, you put the baby to sleep, right? And then a nanny gets to work. You open the nanny on your phone and on Alexa show, which is what I do. So when she goes for a nap, I put her the nanny monitor on the Alexa show, which is in the kitchen, and I just watch her sleep. And you've got the sounds, so you can hear the sounds. You've got background noises which you can turn off, and then you've got the sound from where the crib is coming from. And it's very sensitive, so you can hear everything that goes on upstairs. Even when the boys are in their bedroom, you can hear their conversation. And then when she wakes up, if she wakes up, it has two-way microphone. So what you do is you hold the microphone and you can speak to her. Hopefully your voice settles your baby down. And then there's got a section where you can play sounds. So you can play bird sounds, you can do white noise. I think you've got wave sound and you've got wind sound. And then if that doesn't settle, then you go upstairs and pick them up. So once you've done that, there's a dashboard that you can consult. So you go to your dashboard, and that's where all the data sits. So you've got the insights, you've got the activities. So whenever someone's gone to pick a baby up, that will be recorded. It detects motion and sound, and this activity gets stored onto a cloud, which you can then share. You can share to your device, which downloads the video, or you can share to WhatsApp, social media, email, wherever you want to share. If you want to keep the videos, then I think you have 7 days with insights, and then if you pay premium subscription, I think you get 30 days. It saves in 30 days on the cloud. And I think that the insights are the real pièce de resistance in this. It really is really useful, because then you start to see a pattern with your baby, like when they go to sleep, when they wake up, and then you can improve on that pattern. So it's really good. And apparently I think it's something like 94% of parents go to sleep better from using the Nana app. So I'm very hopeful. And in fact, it's really nice to know the pattern. I've started to spot a pattern with her now. And actually you use that pattern to help them go to sleep. Like I said, the sleeping bags have now launched in the UK as well. And you can I'll leave the code in the description box below, but you've got a code. I don't know if at the time of this recording it was working. I don't know if it works anymore. You might need to find an updated code, but you can get a sleeping bag on the house when you buy another sleeping bag if you use the code SBBOGO. So SBBOGO. And they are suitable, wear them over pajamas, and they're suitable from age 3 to 24 months. Oh, and also another thing is the Nanette has a night light, which is perfect. I really love the night light because it's very soft, but it's also bright enough to be able to see what you're doing in the middle of the night. So when she wakes up to breastfeed and the whole world is sleeping around me, I don't want to wake people up. So I just turn on on my app, I just turn on the night light on my app, and it sort of slowly lights the room up. I can breastfeed, I can see what I'm doing, and then when I put her down, it slowly turns off. It's really good. So that brings me on to my next point, the night light. So if you don't have the Nanette, therefore you don't have the night light, then you will need to have a night light in your room for nightly feeds, or wherever you're going to be to feed or pick up baby or change nappy in the middle of the night. You're going to need some light, and the torch on the phone is too bright. It wakes baby up. And so I initially, before I had the Nanette, used something called a Lumibug, which the kids use at the moment. Lumibug in their rooms is fantastic because it has a setting, very natural setting, which goes from orange, red, all the way up to normal light. And the normal light is quite bright, but it's still a light that doesn't wake you up entirely, which is good. Void stimulation is the low blue white light. So it's got a low blue white light. It's the same light that I have on my phone when I put the blue filter on. It's really helped with my eldest sleep, because he's really struggled with sleep. And obviously in the nursery you need to find somewhere to sit and feed as well. I used a nursing chair with the boys when they were younger because we had more space, but right now because the cot is right next to the bed, I just use my bed. But it's really nice to put somewhere where you can sit and relax, because don't forget, you shouldn't be falling asleep when you're breastfeeding. So you need to be upright. I use my phone on the brightest light when I'm breastfeeding her to stop me from falling asleep. But if you go and sit somewhere to feed, you're less likely to fall asleep as well. And you'll have to get up and put the baby back in the cot, which also helps. In the nursery, you'll need cupboards, drawers, and a place for clothes. So you don't need much. I have a set of drawers. They're quite high. I think they have about 6 drawers, 5 to 6 drawers in them, and each drawer has things like socks, bibs, mats, mitts, things like that. The next drawer has baby vests, baby grows, sleep sacks, things like that, which we'll come on to later. Sleep sacks, blankets and hooded towels for the bath, any bath equipment, baby slings, car seat cushions, car seat wraps, blankets, which we'll also come on to in a bit, and clothes which are too big or too small. So I put that in the bottom drawer, and so I section those off. And if I have someone who's just had a baby, or if I've got clothes that were handed down to me or given as a present, I stick them all in there. A quick note about sleep sacks, actually. Sleep sacks are really important during the night because they promote safe sleep. They are much better than blankets, actually, and you can get 2 different types. You can get 2 different togs, I believe they're called. Oh, look, I'm leaking. See, I'm talking about leaking. I'm leaking. I don't have a breast pad in there. And you get long sleeve and short sleeve. And what they do is they fit over baby, and you zip them up at the side like that. And then they button at the top, and they just stay put. And so baby cannot put it over their heads, and it keeps them warm during the night. But more on baby clothes later. Got baskets and organising bits and bobs. I love baskets. I absolutely love, I don't know if you can see in the corner over there, I love those wicker baskets. See, wicker baskets are perfect for putting little tiny bits and bobs in there. In that one I put nappy creams, nail files, nail clips, anything related to changing, bathing, all goes in there. And you can section things in the nursery as well, so bits related to feeding you can put in a separate wicker basket. Now we're going to go straight to sleep time. Now prepare for sleep time fun. Now you are going to be obsessed with sleep because you won't get any. If you had 8 hours sleep before you got pregnant, then good luck to you. You're going to receive one hell of a culture shock because babies don't sleep. They don't sleep like babies. You know that saying, sleep like a baby? I don't know who came up with that because they obviously had a miracle baby. Anyway, sleeping like a baby doesn't actually apply to newborns. Remember, newborns aren't meant to sleep through the night. They wake up every 2 to 3 hours because they have small tummies and they need to feed. So they need to wake up every 2 to 3 hours, unfortunately for you, but they don't have that sleep-wakeful pattern, the REM sleep and the deep sleep. They don't have that yet. And they don't have a body clock, and they don't have a one that's been manufactured over time to help us with night and day. They don't have that. So don't try and push your newborn to sleep. It's not going to work. You may be one of the rare ones. So actually, having said that, one night in the hospital, this lady slept for 6 hours, and I was prompted to wake her up, and I didn't want to wake her up. I knew that when she wake up, she'd be starving, and she was, and she fed really well. But 6 hours, I find, is rare. It's very rare to sleep like that. But they should be getting around 8 hours or 3 naps during the day, and then around 8.5. No biting. She's biting me when she breastfeeds now. And should be getting around 8.5 to 9 hours in the night, not all in one go. So when they get a bit older, to around 1 month, they should have about 6 or 7 hours of sleep during the day, then around 8 hours sleep during the night. Then when they get to around 12 months, they'll have about 2.5 hours sleep during the day and around 11 hours of sleep at night. That's when you're going to start experiencing some nice sleep. Well, my boys didn't sleep 12 hours in the night, I'll tell you that now. Fact. Listen, sleeping patterns will fluctuate. They will be different for every baby, but just the most important thing to realize is you don't want them to be overtired. When they're overtired, they're hard to settle, they're uncomfortable, they're cranky, and it's not good for them. They need to have their sleep. So whatever this, I used to have this all wives tale, don't let them sleep after 4. If they want to sleep after 4, they can sleep after 4. So preparing your changing area. So in the nursery, I would thoroughly recommend, we have it here, but wherever you're going to position your baby stuff, to have a changing area. And the reason why you want to have a changing area is your baby will poo umpteen times a day. They poo so much. so much, it's ridiculous. And it's just a lot easier to have everything to hand in one place, so you're not running around like a headless chicken. So I have nappies, wipes, nappy sacks, cloths, muslin cloths, nappy cream, things like that. I use something called Metanium. You want to start with something that is visually and mentally stimulating, because babies can't use their arms and legs, so they just want to be able to look at something that's not a blank canvas. So I use a lot of black and white stuff. So I used to wear, when Isla was a newborn, I bought a lot of black and white tops. So that's why I'm wearing one of these right now. This actually, I wore this when I was going home, actually. I can't remember where this is from. I use a lot of black and white patterns. You can get them free from the internet. Your health visitor will give you a free book as well with black and white faces on it. But just black and white is what all they can see at the very beginning, and then that will later turn to red, and then eventually they will see all the colors. But you want them to see visually, you want them to start opening up these connections, these brain connections, and the more you give them new things to look at, the quicker that will become, and the smarter they will be, actually, because they will learn how to connect these things quicker. And black and white patterns are a perfect way to start. We'll come on to more entertainment later. I've got lots of things to talk about with entertainment, but we'll come on to that later. If you've had a vaginal birth, I would thoroughly recommend that you get a ring cushion. A ring cushion is it's like a ring, basically. It's like a donut, and it's got a hole in the middle, covered by a piece of material. When you've had a normal birth, some stitches or some tearing or whatever, you are going to find it very difficult to sit on your front bottom. So that space is reserved for your front bottom, where all the pressure gets spread. I used a ring towel, which I can manipulate, because the ring cushion was actually too high for me at the beginning, and I could still feel a lot of pressure down there, a pain as well. So I used a ring towel first, and then I eventually, after about 2 weeks, I started to sit on a ring cushion. And I know that it's probably not a good idea, but that's the only way I could sit down. Other things, well, even if you've had a C-section, you will come home with lots of medication. This time round, ironically, even though I had a C-section with my first two, I only brought home 2 painkillers. This time round, I brought home so many more things. I brought home codidromol, ibuprofen, enoxaparin, which apparently is to prevent thrombosis, and my husband had to inject me in my belly for 10 days every evening. That was horrible. I hated that. Iron tablets, because I lost 1.5 litres of blood during birth, and lactulose to combat the iron tablets, because obviously iron tablets make you constipated and you need to be able to go to the toilet. So I had lactulose to combat that. Naturally, this lady did not like that, and had a lot of tummy problems. And so once I started to wean them off, she got a lot better. And also can't stress to you enough that just because you're not pregnant anymore doesn't mean you don't take prenatal supplements. Actually, you should take postnatal supplements, because postnatal supplements will have different vitamins and minerals in there. Postnatal supplements that will include vitamin D, vitamin B6 and vitamin B12, and that keeps mum and baby very healthy, healthy. And this lady has vitamin D drops. Vitamin D drops are here. See, vitamin D drops. She's had a couple of colds, but so far so good. Okay, so car seat. Now, hospitals will not allow you to take baby home until you've got a car seat. And a car seat is not as easy as you think. So I've got a table in my article which relates to what kind of car seat that you need. But babies, but babies up until they're 15 months old must have a car seat that's rear facing. That means facing the back rather than the front. And that's just to prevent forceful impact should you ever, heaven forbid, have a car accident. That protects them from being that way rather than that way. And generally what you'll need is a group 0 and a group 1 car seat. Consult my article to show you what that means. Group 0, 1, 2 and 3 are from birth. They go up to a certain amount of months. So group 0 is up to 6 to 9 months, and then you'd have to change. Have a look at the table that I've got in my article for more information. Added protection. Now, winter babies will need added protection, because obviously when we're transitioning from home to car to pram, whatever, it's going to be very cold for them. So we were gifted these blanket specifically for car seat from Cura Organics. It is a pure organic wrap in sorbet, which is a lovely pink colour, and it's really good. It's designed to keep baby warm. It's got holes where the straps should go, and then you wrap baby around, and then you fasten baby up with the buttons. It's really cute, and it's got lots. The fabric is very soft, very thick, and very breathable. It's perfect for carrying baby around, and she looks so cute. Now we're on to our changing bag. So we are home, we've got baby, and we are about to do our first outing. What do we need to put in our changing bag? So hopefully you would have had most of the stuff that you need in there already, and you've just transitioned from hospital bag to changing bag. But there are some things that you'll need in there for everyday use. For me, it's a laptop and charger, and generally you will have things like hand sanitizer. So once you've changed your baby's nappy and you can't get to a tap or somewhere to wash your hands, then you need a hand sanitizer in the interim. Bottles, so either formula bottles with formula in it, or breastfeeding if you're pumping, which we'll come on to in a minute. Snacks for babies when they get to a weaning age, which we'll also come on to in a bit. 6 months, from 6 months you can wean them onto basic foods, and so you might need that. If you've got babies that are a bit older, towards 1 year, you might need more snacks, sippy cups, water, other bottles, finger foods, things like that. Bibs are really important. You need bibs that will wipe up drool, spit up any extra mess, things like that. They're really good. An extra muslin blanket for either nappy changes or when they're asleep. Covering baby, things like that. Extra clothes for accidents. So this little lady likes to do certain accidents like poo on her clothes, so extra clothes are really useful there. Dummy if your child uses them. None of my 3 use dummies. Sometimes I wish they did. She uses her thumb, which I don't think is any better. In fact, I think it's worse because you can't take a thumb away. But anyway, dummies, a soft toy, comforter or a teddy or a blanket, anything like that. She hasn't got anything yet. I'm sure that will change when she gets older. Sun cream and hat for sun protection if it's very hot outside or if it's very sunny. It'll be useful to put sun protection on there. Emergency information just in case anything happens. Then they will be able to help you with your emergency contacts, things like that. Nail clippers. You don't need to put nail clippers in change bag, but when she's feeding, she generally, you can see she's a very active baby. She will not let me clip her nails when she's awake. So when she's feeding and I'm outside in the cafe or whatever, I've got the perfect opportunity to clip her nails, I will take my nail clippers out and I'll do it then. Baby sling or a baby carrier, we'll go into that in a minute, in a bit as well. But it'd be useful to transition from pram to baby sling to be more hands-free. That's useful to have in there if your changing bag can allow for it. And a first aid kit which will have things like Calpol, plasters, cleansing wipes, alcohol wipes, and don't forget your wallet, keys, phone for you, diary notebook. I have a diary notebook and a pen, snacks, and a bottle of water for yourself, which I carry my big baby in there. So for me at the moment, I'm still wearing maternity leggings. I did only have a baby 4 months ago. I am starting to exercise now. I haven't been very good at it, but I have started to exercise, lost a tiny little bit of weight, not much. But if you're lucky that you're one of those that are back in their pre-pregnancy clothes, well done, lucky you. I've never been able to do that, but well done to you. But what I generally do is at the moment I'm living in leggings, and what I do is I wear a top underneath a baggy top like this, and this then ends up being a breastfeeding top. So any top, as long as I can put it over my boobs, then this top will cover me breastfeeding, and then the top underneath will cover the bottom part. So that's what I'm generally doing at the moment. Like I said, nursing bras, things like that, go to Boob or Bust calculator, they're very good. You can also, because it's cold outside, I have these big scarves which double up as breastfeeding shawls. They're really good, so I wrap them around when I'm outside, and if I need to breastfeed, then I'll just take them off and I'll use them as a breastfeeding shawl. Cardigans are great. I've got fantastic cardigans actually. I've got fantastic cardigans which have these long panels that stretch out over baby, so they double up as breastfeeding shawls and as a blanket. So when I'm breastfeeding her, I can wrap the blanket around her too. So I would thoroughly recommend things like that. And comfortable shoes, like, you know, you're carrying baby, don't wear high heels. Well, you can if you can do it, but I can't do it. So preparing for feeding. Now this is a massive topic. So each of these topics, I'm only going to tell you the very brief part of it, and then I'm going to section them off into different articles and videos later. So breastfeeding. Now, breastfeeding, like I mentioned before, is different for everyone. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. Breastfeeding is a very unique experience between you and your baby. Both of you are learning, don't forget that, not just you, not just baby. Both of you are learning, so it can become very difficult. Just remember that if you're having trouble and you want to breastfeed, then seek help from a professional breastfeeding counsellor. A midwife might be able to help, but seek a specialist breastfeeding counsellor to help you. Isla was latching on really well, but she was clicking while she was feeding, and I was very lucky that in one weigh-in clinic appointment, there was a breastfeeding counsellor there, and she noticed when I was breastfeeding Isla that she was clicking, and she came over and she said, maybe if you push her up a bit more, push her to the side, parallel, and actually that stopped her from clicking eventually. I mean, she had learned this habit of clicking while she was breastfeeding, but eventually she learned because I knew the proper position. With my first, I had my mum, but I went to see a breastfeeding counsellor because I was in a lot of pain when I was feeding Aaron, and they helped me out a lot. And if they hadn't, and if I didn't have my mum, I wouldn't be breastfeeding. I wouldn't have been breastfeeding for 15 months. So if you want to persevere, persevere, but just make sure that one, you feed through the pain, and two, you get help for that pain straight away. If it's painful when you're feeding, you're probably doing it wrong. And remember, incorrect latch, improper feeding will then lead to no weight gain or even loss of weight, and painful breasts and less milk supply. So all of these are connected, okay? But if you have tried your hardest and you can't do it and you want to go to bottle feeding, then fine, no problem at all, doesn't matter. Fed is best. Baby just needs food, so just give her food however way you can do it, which is less mental health pressure on you and less stress on you. Don't listen to anyone else's opinions. I've had it from both sides and it's not fun. You do what you think is best. Your instincts are gospel when it comes to your own baby. I have written an article actually on how to get proper latch. I will put that in the link below. So my situation with the first two boys was I didn't introduce any bottles until Aaron was 15 months old, and luckily he took to it like a duck to water. You know, he just wanted to have milk, he wasn't that interested. Whereas I introduced a bottle to my youngest at 2.5 years. Well, no, actually it was less than that, about a year, 1 year old, maybe 15 months, 18 months old or something like that, and he wouldn't take a bottle. He wouldn't take a bottle. He'd take a sippy cup, but he wouldn't take a bottle because he only wanted mummy's boobs, and that was painful, bloody painful, which is why he stopped breastfeeding at 2.5 years. And for the last 18 months of those 2.5 years, I was doing everything I could to get him off, but he wasn't interested. So this time round, I introduced a bottle at 6 weeks, which meant I needed to breast pump. I forgot to mention that during those 2.5 years, I had a massive oversupply of milk, and so I donated about a litre, just over a litre of breast milk to Chelsea and Westminster Hospital, and I gave the rest to Aidan. Obviously, I was breastfeeding, and Aaron in a bottle. So I was producing that much milk. With her this time round, funny enough, it's a completely different experience. I introduced a bottle at 6 weeks to her, and she was very good with it. Really good with it. And I'm not producing nearly as much as I did, not even nearly as much as I did before. And I think that's actually because she's a very efficient feeder. I'm producing just enough, I think. Occasionally, like I've just leaked now, I will leak when she moans, but that's a really good indication for me to know that she's hungry, which is great, or thirsty. But breast pumping. Now, breast pumping is an experience, definitely an experience, not one that I'm very good at now. I am, because I was gifted this MAM 2-in-1 electric and manual breast pump. Best breast pump I have ever used. I've used a whole range of breast pumps. This is the best breast pump I've ever used. I'm going to do a separate video on the breast pump because it's just too much to talk about in this video, and I'm already way over the limit of this video. It's a 2-in-1, so you have the main breast pump, and then you've got the electric part, which is the base, and connect that to the breast pump. The MAM breast pump comes with 2 bottles, 130 millilitres and 160 millilitres. I think that's right. I'll check if it's wrong. I'll put the correct in the description below. But these are anti-colic bottles, and you get separate storage pots as well. and all lots of different types of equipment, all additional pieces of equipment for the breast pump as well. You get all dishwasher safe apart from the base, obviously, and the tube that links to the breast pump, that's not dishwasher safe. Do not put that in the dishwasher. Then you've got the manual pump that you've got that as well. I haven't actually used the manual yet. I don't want to, don't need to. I've been using the electric breast pump and it's so efficient. I managed to produce over 130 milliliters plus more in the storage pot in less than 15 minutes. Fantastic, really efficient. And the reason why it's so efficient is because it has this two-phase process. It's got the stimulation mode, and the stimulation mode basically stimulate the milk flow, and that's 9 different levels. And then you go on to, once the milk is flowing, then you switch onto the expression mode, which is a button on the base, on the base, and that expression mode also has 9 levels. And it ranges in how strong the vacuum is as you get higher up the level. And apparently research showed that pumping is more efficient at a maximum level of vacuum, as at maximum vacuum level during the expression mode, which is what I saw quickly happen. That's why I could breastfeed loads of milk in the space of 15 minutes. Very, very useful. Isla took bottles, like a duck to water, storing breast milk. Now, the way you store breast milk is, we've got the storage pots for the man breast milk, but sometimes you'll get these storage bags. And breast pumps like Lancino, I believe, you can straight into the storage bags, and you can freeze them, or you can refrigerate them, or you can leave them out depending on when you're going to feed your baby with them. So the rule of thumb when it comes to storing breast milk is untouched breast milk is safe for your baby if it has been sitting at room temperature for 4 hours or less. If you know you're not going to use it within the 4 hours, then stick it in the fridge at the bottom shelf at the back of the fridge, where it can stay for up to 8 days. But it's best to use it within 4 days. Breast milk can stay in an insulated cooler with an ice pack for up to 24 hours. But if you don't use it for longer than 8 days, then stick it in the freezer within 24 hours, within 24 hours of pumping, or 4 days from the fridge, and it'll be good for about 9 months. If you have a deep freezer or a chest freezer, then you should be able to freeze milk for up to 1 year. So we haven't touched upon dummies, soothers and comforters. My babies have never taken dummies, like I said before, but you do have certain soothers that you can use that might likely take the heat off you a little bit. So things like soft teddies, comforters, things like that. Sterilizing your equipment. Okay, so it's very, very important to sterilize your equipment. So you must sterilize your feeding equipment, dummies, milk bottles, all those kind of things in a sterilizer up until your baby's 12 months old, because that prevents diarrhea and other infections. So you clean your equipment with soapy water first, or stick them in the dishwasher, and then you stick them in the sterilizer. We have a Tommy Tippy sterilizer, which we used for all, well, actually not the same sterilizer, but we use the same type of sterilizer, same brand for all 3 boys. Really, really easy to use. You stick the equipment in the dishwasher, then you add your bits into the sterilizer, put in 80 milliliters water into the sterilizer, press the button, and then it takes about 5 minutes to sterilize, and then leave it to stand for 5 minutes before then you take it out. If you don't touch the sterilizer and you don't open the lid, you can keep the stuff in there for about 24 hours. But if it's within the air, then you will have to sterilize again. Now, we're talking about feeding, but we're going to talk about preparing for the weaning stage. Now, the weaning stage happens anywhere between 4 to 6 months, depending on your baby. If your baby is reaching out and taking the food from your plate and putting it in their mouth, they're most likely ready for the weaning stage. She's not quite ready yet. She's 4 months. She was 4 months on the 13th, which was about 10 days ago. So she's about 4.5 months now. She's not ready. She's not been taking anything from my plate. I have been giving her little touches on her tongue of something that I've been eating. I've just been dipping it and then putting it on her tongue just to extend her palate a little bit. I did that with all 3 kids when they got to around this age. But generally from about 6 months. You don't want to do it before, because you don't want to do that before they're too early. That could result in gut problems and allergies and things like that. Wait until their gut is ready before you start introducing them food. I love this breastfeeding stage at the moment. Their poos are so easy to clean, so I'm not in any rush to feed her right now. But what I do have for the weaning stage when she is ready is this fantastic Nutribaby Plus bait from Babymoov. It's a fantastic Nutribaby. It's got a steamer and a blender in one. perfect size for babies. You can puree food, or you can do what I did, and I did baby-led weaning. I will be planning to do both with her, just to encourage versatility. But most of the time I did baby-led weaning, and essentially what that means is that you stick finger foods on a tray and you leave them to touch, feel, taste, mash the food. And actually the benefits of baby-led weaning is that their body then can give them signals when they're full. They will learn better how much to eat, and really in the first year anyway, not much goes through. So puree is great to get all the nutrition in, but I don't actually believe that it's that beneficial to use that until about 12 months. Just use a bit of both anyway. I'll leave a link in the description box below of the Nutribaby. I do thoroughly recommend that you get that. High chairs. Now, we don't have a high chair at the moment. I had 2 babies back to back, so I had 2 high chairs in my house at all times. I used Chico high chair, I believe, and another one, I can't remember what it was called. Really good high chairs. Essentially, they all do the same, but it's really important to pick a high chair that is comfortable, that is manageable, that is space saving, that is easy to use with one hand, that is easy to clean. You have to think about all of these things. Have a look online and look at the running reviews and see which ones have been really good. At the moment, we've got a Bumbo there with a little mini tray, so we're going to start with that. It's right on the floor. We're going to start with that, and then we're going to look into high chairs in maybe about a month's time, 1 month's time. She's not ready to sit in a high chair anyway. I don't even think she's ready to sit in a Bumbo yet, to be honest. I think sitting in that kind of position prematurely might cause problems for their pelvic floor and their spine. So I am not in any rush. She's still young, which is nice. That will soon change. Now, I love bath times. I've got an article related to bath time, which I'll pop in the link below as well. Bath times are so soothing, calming, relaxing. It's such a lovely experience to have with babies. I love bath time. And so I generally, up until she starts playgroup. So she started playgroup in January, a couple of weeks ago. So she will now I'll bath her every other day. Before that, I was bathing her once or twice a week. I mean, they don't need to have any more than that. They're not dirty. When they go to playgroup, they will tend to get a bit dirtier because they've been on external surfaces. But other than that, they don't need to bath every day. Unless you want to build it into your bedtime routine, then you can if you want to. I did that initially with the boys actually, but I don't think it's useful. I don't think it's necessary. If you have to, if you want to, then and you built it part of your bedtime routine, then great. But unfortunately, bath times for my eldest would wake him up, so I tended to avoid that. What do you need in the bath? So you need a baby bath to begin with. You don't have to, you can use a normal bath, but I felt more comfortable using like a top and tail bowl, which essentially for top and tailing, in my article on bathing babies, I explain what top and tail means. It's basically not dipping them in the bath, it's cleaning their heads and cleaning their tails, basically tops and tails, cleaning their bottoms when they're very, very young, newborn stage. And then when they get to about this stage, they can go in the bath on their own. They can still have a little mini baby bath. I had a really good bath seat actually, which my youngest used when my eldest was in the bath. It's really good. It sits them upright so they don't fall into the water. Bath toys and entertainment is really useful, I think. At this stage, you want to use something that is moving along in the water that they can follow. Something that's mechanical, maybe something with lots of different colors, something that's bright, something that really stimulates them visually, and something that helps them to pick up. So they, at the moment, at this stage, they are now using their hands to pick items up and putting them in their mouth. So something that's suitable to put in their mouth. Something suitable for them to pick up as well. So no sharp objects, no heavy objects. And they like to see things that are moving around. Encourage their eye development, so use mechanical objects. Music is good, put music on the bathroom. So soothing music, calming music is quite nice. It sort of sets the tone of it being bedtime and relaxation time, things like that. Baby shampoo and oil, not necessary to use baby shampoo at the first few weeks of life. I don't think so. They're not dirty. They don't need to have external chemicals on their tongue. When they get to about 4 to 6 weeks, then you can start using very soft baby shampoos, like Johnson & Johnson's really good. And I used, for after bath time, so massage, Really recommend massaging. Baby massage helps their digestion, aids them to sleep, relaxes them, calms them down. It's really good for skin as well. I used sunflower oil, 2 drops in the bath, softens their skin, and then afterwards you sometimes don't even need to use massage oil. You can just sort of use a sort of very soft kneading motion all around their bodies, circular motion on their bellies. I'll do a video and article on that. Can I do a video on that? Will she allow me? I don't know. I'll try. Pop this a like in this video if you want me to do that. When they get a bit older, start introducing things like alphabets, you know, and numbers, you know, stuff that they can piece together, because you may not think that they'll understand now, but I did that with the boys, and my eldest started reading at 3 and my youngest started speaking at like 18 months. So there is something to it. Let's get them introduced with letters and numbers. Start talking to them, singing to them in letters and numbers. And at bath time, they're very engaging at bath time. So use that time to teach them things. And I love bath books. I don't have any up here. I love bath books. Bath books are brilliant. They are very easy to put in their mouths, and they're really fun as well. Now, your baby is a blank canvas, okay? So they are susceptible to all sorts of bugs and germs and bacteria and everything that life has got to throw at them. So it's really important that you protect your baby's health, whether that be through you getting the flu shot. I got the flu shot in September when it came out. My husband's just got the flu shot. I forced my eldest to get a flu nasal spray. He hates that kind of stuff, but I forced him to do it. Has to do it. Nasal spray is very important. And my middle one is very good. He understands the whole process of looking after yourself. And vaccinations, baby vaccinations, they are nasty, but they are worth it. Protecting baby as much as possible. If I get the flu, she gets immunity, but at least I've got the flu shot and I can protect her through my breast milk. Have rules in place. When baby is born, have rules in place. No kissing on the lips. Don't kiss baby on the lips. If you're sick, stay away from baby. Hold on a minute, my baby. There you go. If you're sick, stay away from baby. If you're smoking, even smoking and chemicals on the clothes affect baby. So be careful with things like that, external sort of toxins, things like that. But then you'll get other ailments, things like colic. Now, you can't prevent colic. Colic is one of the nastiest things. I've thankfully never experienced colicky babies. I had a friend who had a really colicky baby, and my goodness, she's tough as nails to deal with that. It's really horrible to see your baby crying for so long. Definition of colic, actually, colicky babies is when they cry for more than 3 hours, a day, 3 times a week, for at least 1 hour. That is really hard work. And there still isn't a very clear definition on what colic really means. It's probably down to things like digestion, and it's very painful. Something is not digesting very well, but it's just horrible to experience. I've seen a colicky baby, heard a colicky baby, and I all hats to you mothers and fathers who have to deal with that. It cannot be easy. But there are some ways apparently that you can help a colicky baby. That's putting some white notes in the background to soothe them, doing tummy rubs. Baby massages are apparently very good for that. Then reflux. Now, I did experience reflux. My eldest had reflux quite badly, actually, and I remember having to rock him at 3 o'clock in the morning because he was crying in pain. He never spat up. Not one drop. Throughout the whole of his babyhood, but he would complain, and we were prescribed Infocol, which I'm not convinced did anything. My second one threw everything up. He shared all of his food, but he never complained. And this baby, who is actually lying on my lap right now, she just come out somewhere in the middle. She spits up sometimes, does complain a little bit sometimes. She is quite windy. I have to sit and burp her quite a few times before she can go back to feed, but she's quite happy, so she doesn't really complain. It's important to note that if you can't handle, if you're starting to not be able to handle your baby with reflux or colic, or you don't know what to do, or baby's getting worse, not gaining any weight or losing weight, it's important to seek help. Seek help. Doctors have answers. They're very good for you. Just seek help and see if you can find ways that you can help your baby. Cradle cap and eczema. Now, this is very common. Cradle cap is that crusty stuff that you get on the top of your baby's head. It looks like scales. My eldest one had it really badly. He actually had eczema. I didn't do anything. I tell a lie. I put olive oil on it, which dried it out, made it worse. And then I ended up not doing anything. My second one didn't have hardly any. And so I left it, it went away on his own. This one had a lot on her head and went within months. I mean, you can see, I don't know if she's going to allow me to do this, but the remnants of it are still there. If you can see, there are a little few bits, remnants of it are still there, but most of it is gone. I apologise. You can either leave it or you can use coconut oil to soften the flakes and then a baby brush to brush it off. But make sure, my auntie said, you should really dry the area. That helps a lot. Make sure that after bath that the area is really dry. Oh, this one is very dry. Nap time. Items you need for health. So healthcare set is really important. Healthcare set is really good. You should have a healthcare set with you in the bath or in your communal area, which will include a thermometer. A digital thermometer is really good. We have a Nokia digital thermometer, which is amazing, absolutely amazing. I'll drop a link in the box below. But you literally scan the baby's head, so you don't have to wait them to do the thermometer. You scan the baby's head, and it comes up as a digital number on the screen, and you can save different profiles. So you can actually save different babies' profiles or adults' profiles, and then you download an app, and it comes onto the screen, and it populates the temperature on the screen. It's really good. I love it. Really, really good thermometer. You've got nasal aspirator. Now, you know that babies at the beginning cannot decongest their own nose. So if they have a cold or a flu and their nose is blocked, then they need help to clear that. A bath is really good. Steam bath is really good to clear that. But if you're waiting for it to drain, that might be a bit difficult. Get a nasal aspirator. It's essentially a tube with a block on the end of it. So you suck, and it sucks the mucus out of it and locks it into that tube at that little compartment at the end, and then you clean it out. But she got quite a nasty cold actually at around 4 weeks. And oh my gosh, the amount of mucus that came out of that girl is unbelievable. But the nasal aspirator was very useful for that. Toothbrush is for a little bit later. When you start getting teeth, she's just started teething, and so she doesn't really need it now. You can get those little bumpy things that you could put your finger to rub the gums. That's really useful. So that's like a mini toothbrush. Emery board for filing nails and nail clippers. That's really important. You clip the nails, might be some sharp bits. So use a very soft nail file to soften that down. That's more useful for them rather than for us. I mean, I'm hacked all over the place, especially my boob area. But for her, I don't want her to experience that kind of pain. Scissors are useful. Scissors are useful for anything. Baby brush, like I said before, for cradle cap. But if they've got hair, it's very cute. And a comb also for the same thing. Now, painkillers for babies. Now, babies cannot use anything before 3 months, but actually, if they're having their first jabs, which is at 8 weeks, they can use infant Calpol. Infant Calpols is the only thing really they can use. Ibuprofen is for a bit later, but Calpol can be used for teething and for the jabs. I found really useful. Vitamin D drops I've explained before, and jabs. Now we've got to prepare for the jabs. Now the vaccinations are the things that I dread the most, especially the first one and the last one. The first one is nasty. 3 injections, 2 on one leg, 1 on the other, and then oral medicine, which she didn't take very much of, which is the norovirus, I believe, which I'm a bit scared of. Rotavirus it was. I'm really scared that she hasn't taken enough. But apparently the nurse practitioner said that they do offer more than is catered for, so I hope that she's protected. But 8 weeks, the first one is 8 weeks. She had hers a little bit later. You've got the 6-in-1 vaccine. I'll drop a link in the box below to tell you with descriptions of what these are. You've got the 6-in-1 vaccine. You've got the rotavirus vaccine as well. You've got the meningitis B vaccine. That's the first one. And then you get to 12 weeks. you have the second dose of the 6-in-1 vaccine, the second dose of so you've got the first dose of the PCV, which is the pneumococcal vaccine, and then you have the second dose of the RV vaccine. Then at 16 weeks, you've got the third dose of the 6-in-1 vaccine, and then the second dose of the meningitis B vaccine. And then at 1 year, which is the 1 year, you've got HIV meningitis C vaccine, which is given as a single jab, which contains vaccines against the meningitis C. That's the first dose. And then HIB, which is the fourth dose. And then you've got the MMR vaccine, and the MMR vaccine is measles, mumps, and rubella. That's given as a single jab. And then you've got the PCV pneumococcal vaccine, which is a second dose, and then the meningitis vaccine, which is the third dose. And then make sure you bring Calpol and lots of cuddles for those, because both of you will need it. Now, teething is the bane of parents' lives. It can last for months. I've started to notice that a small pattern. If they start early, it tends to last for ages. If they start later, it tends to last for only a few months. So my eldest started around 6 months and popped loads of teeth out in short space of a few months. And my second one started at 3 months and didn't have his first teeth until about 10 months, I believe. She started at 4 months. She's drooling everywhere. She's complaining. She's put her hands in her mouth a lot. But I haven't seen any swollen gums yet. But it just seems like it goes on forever and it seems swollen. But if they start from around 6 months, really, there's nothing you can do at this stage except for offer Calpol if they're over 3 months. Or you can use teething rings, which are in the fridge. That seems to work quite well for her. But when they get to about 6 months, you can start introducing frozen foods, and frozen foods are great for swollen gums. I used to have these little nets which you'd secure, and it's like a net, like a cage, a soft cage, and then you put the food in there, the frozen food, like frozen grapes are really good, or frozen apples or frozen pears. You put that in there and they just play around with it, and it really soothes their gums. They really like that. I thoroughly recommend getting that net. I will pop a link in the box below if I can find it, because I don't remember what it's called. They're really good. And then as they get older, you can use things like Bonjela or Ashton and Parsons, which are like questionable white powder, but it's really, Ashton's and Parsons are really good. I noticed a big difference with those. Looking after yourself. So now we look after baby, we look after our family, but we forget to look after ourselves. We also have to make sure that we are healthy as well, because we are sleep deprived, we're not eating properly, we're looking after everyone except for ourselves. So we need to make sure that we are up to date. We need to have postnatal supplements. We need to have our flu shots. We need to make sure that we are eating properly and drinking properly and sleeping properly as much as possible. But look at I will pop a link in the box below to my article about looking after your post-baby body. That will contain lots of information about how to look after yourself. Now, exercise is very important. Exercise is, even if it's just a gentle walk in the park, exercise gets the heart pumping and the body circulating oxygen, which helps to fight off bugs. I'm telling you, exercise is key. When I was exercising every day and I started training, I never got sick. As soon as I stopped exercising and I started to put on weight, I got sick. So there is a correlation there. I really indulged over Christmas. I've started my exercise regime now. I'm up until last week I started eating really unhealthy, but I'm going to stop that and I'm going to start eating really well now. And you don't have to hit the gym. You know, if there's no crash there, you can't hit the gym anyway. But use workouts at home. I work out at home. I use beachbody.com. I love Shaun T. I've got this new exercise workout that I'm working from called 100 Workouts by Jericho Matthews. She's so pretty. She has really good 25 to 30 minute exercises. That's all you need. I do it when baby naps. I massively believe that using exercise tops, or tops which are secure and safe and protective, will actually encourage you to exercise more. So Pearco, I think it's called, gifted me these beautiful, really, really comfortable, really secure line fit and line up tops. Unfortunately, I can't fit the line up top because I'm too big, but the line fit top works really well, and it's really good for posture, and it's sort of very secure. It really secures the back, I noticed. The line up top's very good for posture because when you're slouching, it kind of helps you to lift your body back up. I slouch a lot. I've just realized I've been slouching in this video. So using the line up top is actually really useful to keep your back upright. Exercise actually helps with posture as well because it encourages you to stretch up. So that's a really useful one. I also love, I got gifted these Love leggings. I have two. I have one for everyday use, which are really stretchy, really thick, really comfortable material, so you don't get the see-through problem, see-through experience. And I also have the Focus Full Length Mulberry Plum sports leggings, which are really good. They support my waist, they cinch in my abs, and they stay cool and dry whilst I'm sweating. They have this great material that keeps everything dry and cool. Hair loss. So I started losing hair, not much actually, but a little bit. I started losing hair up around when she turned around 4 months. I had this really thick, gorgeous, curly, glossy hair during her pregnancy, and now it's slowly starting to come off. And in fact, when I do this, bits of hair come out of my hands. I know that postnatal supplements help, which is probably why I'm not losing as much as I did with my second one, but I didn't take postnatal supplements. I lost so much hair and my hair got really thin and straggly. I'm really scared actually that I'm going to get to that stage. So I was gifted these really, really nice, beautiful, pure diamonds line espresso black clip-in hair extensions, Rubin hair extensions. Watch this space because I'm going to be doing a video on using them. But they're so good to cover up the shortfall. They're straight, so my hair is really curly, so I'll be giving a nice excuse to straighten my hair. Also, look out for signs of postnatal depression. That's really important. That's a really big one. I suffered, I think, postnatal depression when I was with my first. I had panic attacks for 6 weeks after Aaron's birth because I had a very traumatic birth actually. Both of us almost died in the birthing suite. And for about 6 weeks afterwards, I just used to get these really nasty thoughts, very unrealistic thoughts, but nasty thoughts. They seemed very real to me at the time. Now looking back, I'm thinking, oh my God, but they were very realistic to me at the time. We lived in our own flat and we had a balcony door, quite a big one, balcony. And I was just worried that in the middle of the night, he'd be able to find a way to get into the balcony door and fall off the balcony, or someone would steal him. You know, things like that, or if he'd fall on a knife or whatever. Unrealistic as they may be, they felt very real to me. And it was only, and I did suffer in silence. It was only when I spoke to my friend, my best friend at 6 weeks, and she said, well, you know, maybe this is just you protecting your kids, you know, maybe you're just gearing up to be protective and you're using survival of the fittest. And I agree with her, but actually, and then she said, you do know that it's unrealistic though, that will happen. I mean, he's only 4 weeks. And it was when she said that it resonated with me, and I realized I was being unrealistic because these thoughts would give me panic attacks. I would start to lose breath, and my heart would start to pump and stuff, and I'd start to get really anxious. I wasn't able to breathe, and I wouldn't tell anyone. So I would slowly start to slow my breathing down. It would take a while, but I'd get there in the end because I had a baby and I kept thinking I need to get over this. But I didn't consult a doctor. And the result of that is that even now, very occasionally now, but even now, if my head hits the pillow, I will have a sudden thought that someone will come in and steal my babies, or someone will come through the window and jump on the bed. Just very, you know, all of a sudden it'll just come out of nowhere, and it'll take me a while to think of something positive to cloud over that memory. It will take me a long time to get rid of that thought. I don't know where it comes from and I don't know why, but maybe it's because I never solved it. I never went to a doctor and I never sought therapy for it. And postnatal depression can come in all different forms, right? I wasn't crying, I wasn't sad, I didn't reject my baby and things like that. I just had these panic attacks, and that comes in a different form of postnatal depression. And I didn't know I had it. Didn't know about postnatal depression, and neither did my best friend 9 years ago. So if you are feeling down in the dumps and it's not going away, if you're feeling like you don't want to look after your baby, or you can't look after your baby, or you're crying all the time, or you're too tired to go out, whatever it is, if it's taking over your life, if it's impacting on your day, then you need to go and seek someone. It's very common. It's more common than you think. It's just not talked about. It's one of those taboo subjects which needs to be out in the open. We are all suffering from it. Don't forget, you went through a trauma of labor and birth. It's normal to feel like you're suffering. It's not an easy thing to go through. So go and speak to someone. Take it from me. Go and speak to someone. So now let's go on to something a little bit more positive. Entertainment. Now, there are loads of different types of entertainment for babies. I love the entertainment stage. I call this the unnecessary necessary stage, because I tend to go a bit over the top with lots of entertainment for babies, but I do love it. And actually, the things that I do buy, I think, are educational. They're just, fun. They're fun. So one of the things that I have always got for kids, for my babies, is a musical mobile. We have a very gorgeous one, Tippy Toes musical mobile from Claire de Lune. It's a very pink one. It's got ballerinas and pink hearts in it and stuff, but it's a very beautiful melody. Isla has it. It's got very stimulating musical sound, and it does settle her to sleep. Other things are like black and white patterns, like I said. Put one above the changing area, put one when they wake up, get them in book form. Skip hop activity gym. Now, I love activity gyms. I think you may think that they're unnecessary. I think they are very necessary. This is Skip Hop Activity Gym. This is a fantastic gym. This was gifted to us. The reason why this is a fantastic gym is because that archway that you see there has 3 different settings. It has one that goes right to the bottom for tummy time, so newborn time. When they're on their tummies, they can look at straight ahead and they can see all these different kinds of visual development. There's a fox, which is noise activated, so he moves his head when baby babbles. There is a colourful toy that lights up when it's moved. There's a mirror, and on the other side of the mirror you can slip your phone through and record your baby's movements, or you can play something if you want. And there is an owl which has a handle that pulls through, so you pull it and the owl pops his head and goes twit-twoo. There is something else which makes a noise. What is it? It's a blue, I don't know what it is. It's a blue animal, and you press the button and it plays a little sound, a little musical piece. And then you've got the floor. If you see the floor, it's got lots of different animals. Isla loves chatting to those animals on the floor, and she loves chatting to the fox. The only thing that I would say is it should have music. My boys had the Lamar's Symphony Space Motion Gym, and I loved that gym. I can't find it at the moment. It's unavailable on eBay and Amazon, but I love that gym because it has the arch moves from side to side, and it has music. You can play music on it. I think that's what's missing on here. Having said that, you can move the arch upright, so when baby's on their back, they can see all of this. See? And then you can sit them up, you can pull the archway down, and they can sit up and they can pull and they can play with the bits. We've added extra bits on there. We've added the Lamar's caterpillar that Isla loves, and the black and white book that I was talking about with black and white patterns. We've added that on there as well. And hanging toys. So if you've got hanging toys and books, I just add them to the archway. So, and then that brings me on to sensory toys and books. I love sensory toys and books. I love rattles that light up. I love musical instruments. I love books with all sorts of different textures. My shelf here has got tons of different types of books. I'm just going to put her into her bed and then I'll carry on talking. I want to just show you a few of what I've got. I've got these kinds of books where you have little bumpy bits in here, right? I've never seen this. This was gifted by my friend. I love these. You see they've got like different bumps in them. See, that baby can look at, and you can read to baby, and it has like, say, all bumpy different textures here. And then you've got these infamous That's Not My Tractor book, That's Not My Monster book. I've got That's Not My Unicorn, That's Not My Dinosaur. I've got loads of those kind of books, and these books have got different textures on each page. You see, That's Not My Monster, you know, his eyebrows are too furry, or you see those kinds of things. And you know, you've got different materials, you can see there, look, bumpy paw, look, smooth paws. You can see like all different kinds of things, right? See? So these are so great for stimulation, for like baby learning about different textures and you reading to them, and I point to the words and stuff. It all helps. And we've got Lamar's caterpillar, which has black and white patterns. So now dens and play areas. Now I am desperate to create a den, which I created for my first really gorgeous den play area. It's got lots of little flashing lights in it and music. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because my boys' playgroup had best play area, the best sensory room ever, and I loved it for myself. I really wanted to have one of those. I always wanted one of those when I was growing up, and so I suppose I'm living vicariously through my kids. But I'm going to create one for Isla. Watch this space. I'm going to create one and do a video of it. But the den that I created was just basically this canvas tent, and in the tent it had like I'd hung balls up and flashing lights, and I had lava lamps in there. It was really, I absolutely loved it, and Aaron loved it as well. It was like his little room. So when he got older, he'd go into his room and he'd read a book in his room. It was really sweet. But watch this space. I'm going to create one. Another one is a bouncer. Our bouncer is currently folded up, but you get one of the bouncer seats where you can hang onto the doors and they bounce up and down, or you can have one where they can sit. Just checking and finding. Bouncer seats are the seats where you can rock back and forth, where the baby can rock back and forth, and it can have an arch and have different things to do, music and rhythm and vibration and things like that. I think they're really useful. If you have to have your hands free, you can put them down in these seats and go and do your own thing. And I actually take the bouncer. We've got the Chico Swing, Relax and Play bouncer. It's a really good one because I take the bouncer with me when I'm having a shower. She's really soothed by the rocking movement of the seat, and you get 5 different speeds of the rhythm, and it's got 3-point safety harness. It's got different music, nice soothing music, and then an arch with cuddly toys, which I've also hung books and stuff on there. And so she's entertained whilst I'm having a shower, which is great. Now a bumbo. See, now I'm in two minds about bumbo. I think she's too young to use this bumbo here, right? It's essentially a seat where they sit down, and it's got a little tray, but it's all about sitting down on their bottoms and having them upright, and giving them something to do. Now I think she might be a bit too early for this. I think it's not great for her spine or her pelvic floor. I think she's too young. But they are useful when they're about 6 to 8 months, and it just gives them something to do when they're sitting upright, and so they're not on your lap, and it makes life easier for you. Now baby carriers. I love baby carriers. I didn't use baby carriers for the first 6 months with my kids, with my boys. I'm really gutted that I didn't do that because I missed out. I was very thankful to Made for Mums, who kindly allowed me to review one of their babies things, the Lift, LIFFT stretchy baby wrap sling, which I will leave a link below once I get the copy of that review. But I was gifted a Baby Beyond Baby Carrier 1 for Isla, and actually I have been using baby carriers from the boys from 6 months. So I had one from 9 years ago. I love the brand. They're a fantastic brand, really good baby carriers, and I love this Baby Carrier 1. I've been using it on Isla since she was about 1 month, well actually less than that, maybe about 6 weeks maybe. And it's very easy to use. I go everywhere with her. The only thing is the clips are quite difficult to put. As she's getting older, it's quite difficult to pop her in and put the clips and compartments in. But other than that, I absolutely love it, and it's such a nice way to carry baby around. At the beginning, up until now, I was carrying her that way around, so facing me, but now I'm putting her that way around so she can see the world, and she loves it. And my hands are free to hold my boys' hands, and hold shopping and hold bags and things like that. I feel a lot more independent and free using a baby carrier than a pram. Very useful to have a travel system. I think it's cheaper to get a travel system than a buggy. We have the Upper Baby Vista 2019 travel system, gifted by my sister, in silver white, and it came with the car seat, came with the Be Safe car seat, no Isofix, rain covers, the carry cot extension, the stroller, cup holder, thanks to my sister, And Isla is getting too old for the carry cot now at 4.5 months. I need to change that and change it to the stroller. But it's like a massive palace. It's a very high quality, huge contraption. I would probably recommend getting something smaller, but it's just a big beast. The pram, it's a beast. But she's very well protected and it looks very high quality. Right, need to think about your finances before you have a baby. Listen, it might seem like you're not spending that much money at the beginning. Well, you're not really. I mean, you're buying nappies and wipes, but everything adds up. And think about all the equipment that you have to buy as well. That all costs money. You know, I've written an article on how to plan for your baby budget, and I'll pop that in the link below as well. That tells you a little bit more information. Prepare for a relationship with your partner. Now, this is a difficult one because you can't anticipate or foresee how difficult and stressful and straining having a baby really is until you have the baby. It's going to change your relationship with your partner, whether you like it or not. You will have less time for each other. Your partner might feel a little bit left out because you're with baby all the time, and they might feel a little bit jealous too because you're spending all that love and attention on your baby, which is rightfully so. Your baby needs you 100% of the time. You'll have less time for each other, and don't forget that your nerves will be frayed. You will be sleep deprived, and you will have all these hormones raging, which will make your temperament go up and down to different extremes, and you'll likely take it out on the person that's closest to you, which is your partner. So whether you like it or not, that's going to happen. But it's important to remember that you are in it together. You are a team. Work together. When you've done something wrong, when you know that you've snapped at your partner, whatever, make amends. It's difficult, I know. You know, I snap at my husband all the time. I don't mean to, but it's just something that I end up doing without realizing. But get that intimacy back as quickly as possible. You will probably not feel like you want to be intimate with each other. Well, you won't want to feel that intimate with him after you've had a baby. That's normal. But get that intimacy back in different ways, like cuddle your partner, kiss your partner, or be together, and try and introduce date nights, because you know if you lose that communication, then it'll be very difficult to get it back. If you start to get used to it. I've got an article on that which I'll drop in the link below. But also prepare a relationship with your kids. Now, this is an interesting one. If you have kids before, then you've got a new learning curve now. You need to try and protect your baby from your kids, whether you like it or not. Either your baby's going to slot right in, or you're going to receive one hell of a culture shock. From 1 to 2, I really struggled because I had 2 babies and they were 15 months apart. There's 7 years between my middle one and my third one, and actually, so she's slotted right in. Well, my 2 kids are at school right now, and it feels like I've only got one up until 3:30. Then I feel the bane of 3 kids. That's an interesting one. After school, I'm exhausted. By 5 minutes when I get home, my stress levels are already raised the roof. Like, I'm nice and relaxed now. She's asleep, but once my kids come home, and boys are so hard. Once I have my boys come home, then that's it. I am like rush. I can't do anything. So, but there are some things that I, constantly say to my kids all the time, like don't shout in her ear. She's sleeping. Leave her alone. Don't kiss her on the lips. I'm always saying that. But truth be told, my boys are amazing. They look after her. They're very protective over her. And actually, funny enough, there was we went to a Christmas fair. I had to leave Isla with one of my good friends to go and collect some alcohol that my boys had won. And actually it was quite useful because we were going to a party later with everyone. I left the baby with my friend, and I came back about 5 minutes later, 4 or 5 minutes later, and my friend came up to me and said to me, you know that your son didn't stop staring at me the whole time. And I was like, oh, okay, why is that? And he asked me why. He asked me why I was holding Isla, and I said, and she said, oh, she's up. She said, oh, I'm just holding on to the baby until mummy gets back. He goes, oh, okay. And just started staring at her for 5 minutes until I got back. Now, if that's not protective, then what is? And I'm very grateful for that. So at least I know that she's being looked after when I'm not there. What can I say? Look, and if your kids don't get along with each other like that, then, it's going to be inevitable that kids will fight. They fight. My boys fight with each other all the time. It's inevitable. And when she starts being cute, they will also fight with her, and she'll likely end up fighting with them. But the trick is with older siblings, I think, is involve them very early and make them feel responsible for looking after their baby sister or their baby brother. I use the boys when I help get the boys to help me with nappy changes, with getting her dressed, looking after her when I'm cooking the dinner or whatever, and they feel responsible. And I think that helps to change the relationship a little bit. Lack of time for yourself is going to be difficult for you. You're going to get less time to look after yourself. We've already touched upon that earlier. Make sure you make some time for yourself, really important. But also remember that they do grow up quickly, and I know that it's hard work now, but eventually they will grow up and they won't need your cuddles anymore. And actually my 9-year-old and my 7-year-old are needing my cuddles less, and I'm starting to really feel the pain of that. Sometimes I'll go up to them and say, oh, I need a mummy cuddle, and they're like, oh, I don't need a mummy cuddle. It's like, oh, I'm so old now, mummy. No, you're not. You're still my baby. No, I'm not your baby. It's that kind of thing. They're like that now, and it's really annoying because I don't want them to be like that yet. Anyway, but having said that, prepare for lots of new experiences. Lots and lots of new experiences. I feel like an inner child. I went to Mungie Music for the first time ever with my baby last week, and I loved it so much. It's all about shaking rattles and listening to the music and singing along to the songs and jumping up and down with baby. Your inner child comes out. And then I love the time when you get to go to soft play and you can crash into mats and I'd be really silly and go to all these play groups and play with your baby, and I love it. Experiences are great. And in fact, when I first went to go see Santa with my first, long time ago when he was 1 year old, 8 years ago, it reminded me of the time that I'd forgotten all about when I went to go see Santa when I was a child. So your inner child will come out, enjoy it, roll with the punches and act like a child, because that's the only time you're going to be able to do it. And also take lots and lots of pictures and videos, loads and loads and loads. I used to take lots of pictures, and now I take loads of videos, because a picture is worth 1,000 words, but a video is worth 1,000,000. So capture their memories forever, because you can take, when they're like in university or they're working, you can look back at them and remember what kind of parent you were and what kind of kids you had. It's a magical time. Don't lose that time. And you know what? Prepare for the most amazing time of your life. I will never forget each one of my babies when they first smiled at me, when they first cuddled at me, and somehow they seem to make you forget your problems. I'm stressed all the time with work and money and finances and house. No, we're looking for a house at the moment. It's so stressful. But as soon as she smiles at me and as soon as my boys cuddle me, it seems like all of that is so, irrelevant. It's so irrelevant. I don't care. When they're giving me a cuddle and they tell me that they love me, that's when I realise this is what I'm doing it all for. It is the best present in the world. It's the hardest job in the world, but it's the most rewarding job in the world. And you will love it. You will love it. Even though you're sleep deprived, even though you're screaming at the top of your lungs, when they go to bed and they give you that cuddle and they tell you they love you, all is forgotten. Anyway, I need to go pick up my baby. Well done for sticking all the way through in this. I know it's going to be a nightmare, but you have really done well. I hope this guide was useful. I really, really do hope this guide was useful. If I've forgotten anything, please comment in the box below. Let me know what I've missed. I will plan to try updates as soon as I can. Oh no, I've got to go. Well done. Congratulations. I hope the first year goes well for you, and let me know what it feels like. Subscribe if you like this video. I need to go get my baby. Subscribe if you like this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. If it have any comments or any tips or any questions, just pop it in the comments below. I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any more videos. Take care. Good luck. I'm thinking of you.